Well, hey there. This is Katrina Sequenzia, your health coach at Healthy Free Life, where I help Christian women learn how to get healthy so they can live free and go abundantly live out this life that God has called them to. Today, I'm going to be sharing 2 key tips. Actually, I think I might do 3 key tips to help you get through and survive Thanksgiving, right? Oh my goodness, Thanksgiving is, I think, at least here in America, if this is where you're watching from, the biggest food day of the year. Christmas is all about so many other family gatherings, and it's about, presents and trees and all sorts of other beautiful things and the celebration of Christ. So we're often at church and all of those things. But I find that food is such the big focus for Thanksgiving. And here's what happens is that if you are beginning to worry, or not beginning, let's just be honest. If you're like Katrina, I am completely stressed out about Thanksgiving and about food. I have all this angst and fear. Can you put a 1 in the comments for me? Let me know if you struggle with this too, because that was my story. And you are not alone. So many of my students in Healthy For You are beginning and have been sharing with me their concern over Thanksgiving and getting derailed with their healthy habits. And maybe you feel the same way. And, isn't it interesting? I think that Satan uses fear. It's one of his most powerful weapons against us. And then he goes and he uses food, God's glorious food, to bring us down as well. This is not God's design. And so maybe you can relate with something like this. Here's how I used to approach Thanksgiving, and let me know in the comments which one you like to do or you have done. Let me know in the comments which one of these is you. I used to skip a breakfast and or lunch, and I would be like, I'm just going to save all my calories for dinner, right? And then you go and you'd pick out and you'd consume your 2,000 calories in dinner and dessert. Okay, let me know if that's you. Or maybe you're like this, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna proportion everything. I'm gonna have meat. I'm just gonna have a little dollop of everything, and you're trying to control your plate, right? Maybe that's you. That was me as well. Or maybe you're more like, I'm just gonna not do desserts. I'm just gonna avoid the dessert table, right? Or maybe you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna throw it all to the wind, and I'm just gonna start over fresh with my healthy habits on Monday, right? You're just gonna I'm just gonna give in for the weekend and I'll just start over on Monday, right? Many of us have that I'll just start over on Monday mindset. That was me as well. So let me know which one of these that you can relate with, or all 4 of them, right? So this is why we overeat, okay? Any one of those reasons, this is why we can tend to overeat. This is why we have all this angst coming up, right? We get guilty and we feel condemned. And so guess what? Your mind knows what you're doing, okay? We try to think that we're in charge and that we can have these conversations with ourselves, but our subconscious mind, as we begin to say these things, I'm only going to do this, or I'm not going to eat this, and I'm going to you're just constantly resisting. Your subconscious mind doesn't like it. It wants to protect you because it wants to keep you safe. That's its job, is to keep you safe. And so what it does is it will end up self-sabotaging you. So you'll end up overeating. You'll end up with that the guilt and the condemnation. And then here's what happens, right? We just since we just sabotaged ourselves, we might as well just give in. And either you'll start over on Monday, or Lord, heaven forbid you wait until January 1. Let's not wait until January 1. We can nourish and have a better mindset and approach than that. And that's what I'm here to do, is give you my top 3 tips for surviving Thanksgiving, which is in 2 days. So we're going to totally be able to do this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do instead. I want you to drop the rope, okay? Drop the struggle, right? That's what I told you, is we're in that mindset of struggle. But if we can drop the rope, that's half the battle. And when we drop the rope, here's the beautiful thing, is that we can choose to give ourselves permission. We can choose to say, Katrina, I'm going to give you permission to enjoy all of the sides with Thanksgiving. I'm going to give you permission to enjoy a full slice of pie. I'm going to give you permission to put the Cool Whip on top, okay? This is not about deprivation, okay? This is not about trying to resist all of those beautiful favorite foods that you might have. Guys, Thanksgiving is not what derails us. Thanksgiving Day is not what derails us. I'm going to give you another tip for this later, how to not get derailed. I'll save that for another day. But listen, when we can give ourselves permission and then breathe into that permission, then we can drop the rope and give ourselves permission. Okay, so then you've given yourself permission. So then what do? Okay, so now we're on Thanksgiving, right? Point number 2, tip number 2 is that I want you to choose on Thanksgiving when you eat. Well, first of all, don't skip breakfast and don't skip lunch. And if you're, if you still want to you can choose healthier options, nourishing options. You can choose a smoothie and a salad or something that nourishes you, but we definitely don't want to skip because then we just end up all sorts of hangry. So not only going to overeat anyways, we're going to be angry about it and miserable and tired, and we're going to just mess up our blood sugar. So let's not do that. So, okay, so now we're eating on Thanksgiving, right? So here's what we're going to do. Since we gave ourselves permission, we can now choose to be present and aware with the glorious foods that we are eating. All of these favorite foods that you don't get to enjoy most of the year, let's be present with them and practice what I call the power of awareness. And when you practice the power of awareness, that means sensing it with as many of your bodily senses as you can, touching it, tasting it, smelling it, feeling it, looking at it, observing it, and bringing it in and just allowing it to just sit and be with it. It's so incredible when you can choose to be aware with your food, okay? Especially, we're not talking about good food versus bad food. That's not what this is about. This is Thanksgiving. It's time to enjoy and be present because we're not struggling. We've given ourselves permission. So now we can be present. And when you practice the power of awareness, this does take a little bit of practice, but when you practice it and you begin to intuitively eat, and you tune into your body when you're eating, it will tell you when it's full. And because you've given yourself permission, you're not going to be likely to overeat. And so you can stop before that point of bulge, right? Or and if you do, it's just Thanksgiving. Again, Thanksgiving is not what derails us. And that's where I want you to know that if you get derailed on Thanksgiving, the third tip that I want to give you is I want you to extend yourself grace. Forgive yourself for what has occurred on Thanksgiving. It is what it is, okay? Forgive yourself, extend yourself grace, and then you can choose the next meal that you have is going to be a nourishing one. And dare I say, a detoxifying one. I have usually after if I have a big feasting day or a big feasting week, I've gone on vacation or I've just, derailed at all myself, I have a method, a plan to get myself back up. So it doesn't take me a month or I don't have to wait till January to pick myself back up. It can be done in a day and you can just move on, okay? So I'm going to leave you with this. So here's my bonus tip, is I don't think that we understand the power that God gives us and through his Spirit. And this is out of 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. And it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of power, of love, and of a sound mind." And my version here actually says, "and sound judgment." Do you realize the power that God has given us? We don't have to be in fear. Don't be afraid of Thanksgiving. Don't be afraid of food. That only gives a stronghold to the enemy. But you have the power, you have love, and you have a sound mind in Christ. This is overcomable. You can be the one who is able to make the choices that will nourish, a choice to eat God's glorious food, a choice to not give in to the struggle. It is my desire for you to not only survive Thanksgiving, but to survive all of the holidays into the new year. And so I want to help you do just that. So these are just a few of the tips that I share with you here on this video. If you've loved these tips and you would like the additional tips that I have in my holiday survival guide, I would love for you to go ahead and download that. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and I want you to go ahead and download that so that you can have access to, I have probably at least 10 other tips in there that will just help and encourage you and give you that renewed mind to help you not only through Thanksgiving, but through the holidays as well. And I pray that it blesses you and it helps and supports you. And I can't wait to support you through that. So until next time, have a happy Thanksgiving, and I can't wait to see you soon. Bye for now.